It is go time. We are tipping off with a potential Western Conference Finals preview. LeBron and the Lakers clashing with Kawhi and the Clippers. Here's how it went down. Lakers and Clippers 1-2 in the West. Lakers lead the Clippers by 5.5 games. LeBron not getting rid of that tradition, throwing up the chalk. Lakers a 4-point favorite, the total set at 220. LeBron averaging 23 points per game against the Clippers this season. Points prop set at 25.5. Clippers had won 7 of the last 8 games prior to the NBA shutdown. Anthony Davis turning on the heat in the first quarter. LeBron to AD, gets by Marcus Morris. Lakers up by 6. Remember, he got poked in the eye on Saturday during a scrimmage. He plays, and he plays well. Put back. Lakers up by 11. Anthony Davis, 14 points, 8 of 8 from the free throw line in the first quarter. Making free throws, kids. His points prop set at 25.5. 30 seconds into the second quarter, LeBron driving, dunking. Lakers by 13. LeBron's first points of the game. Only had 6 points at halftime. Second quarter belonged to Kawhi. Baseline dunk, 10-point game. Next Clippers possession. Kawhi, fortuitous bounce for 3. Perhaps some soft rims in Orlando. 2 minutes later, Kawhi, pull up. Buckets. Clippers make it a 3-point game. Kawhi, 9 straight points. Less than 3 minutes to play in the first half. Kawhi, spinning fadeaway, smooth. Clippers down 1. 19 points at halftime for Kawhi. 14 of them coming in the second quarter. His points prop at 26.5. Clippers down by 2 at the break. Early third. Clippers start the third on a 14-1 run. Paul George, fill it up. Next Clippers possession. PG-13. Might want to play some defense on him. Buries it. Clippers up by 6. Paul George, 20 points through 3 quarters. Closing in on his points prop set at 23.5. Under 10 seconds left in the third. AD, Anthony Davis mid-range. Lakers make it a 1-point game. Davis, 32 points through 3 quarters. Over hits on his points prop. LeBron James entering the fourth, 9 points on 3 of 12 shooting. Not great. Late fourth. LeBron to the rack with less than 1:30 to play. Clutch. Lakers up by 3. Under 30 seconds to play. Paul George says, I can make a shot too. Buries the 3, and we are tied at 101. Are we going to overtime in the bubble? Ensuing possession. LeBron. No. Gets his own rebound. Puts it back up and in. Lakers up by 2, 103-101. LeBron 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Had to work for it. Last chance for the Clippers. Down 2. Paul George. Tough defense by LeBron for the win. No. Paul George thought he got fouled. Nope. Over. Lakers win it 103-101. But the game did not go over. It went under the total. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What a game between the Lakers and Clippers, 103-101. LeBron James gets himself a double-double. But again, he had to work for it. He was not great from the floor. 6 of 19, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Kawhi Leonard, 28 points, over on his points prop. Anthony Davis scored 20 of his 34 in the first half. Didn't look like he missed a beat. Over on his points prop. Paul George drops in 30 as well. And comes up short, though, at the end there. Thought he got fouled? Nope. Lakers guarantee themselves a top 2 seed in the West with the 103-101 victory. It was dramatic. Here's a look at your winning wagers. As LeBron and the Lakers win, but they do not cover. Clippers +4. Underdog now 4-0 against the spread between these teams this season. Bill Reiter told you to take the Clippers earlier on CBS Sports HQ. I had the under, so I'm feeling good. Under cashes of 220. Under has also hit in all 4 meetings. Straight cash. Let's get some instant analysis. Welcome former NBA Coach of the Year Avery Johnson, CBS Sports NBA insider Bill Reiter. How about that finish, men? Final seconds, Paul George ties it. LeBron drives, scores to take the lead. Paul George had one final shot, looking for a foul, didn't get it. Bill, what's your reaction to how that game ended?
Well, other than the fact that, like you, I was on the under and on the Clippers and, you know, taking the wife and the kids out for a pretty nice dinner this week. Look, it was great in the early game to have basketball back, and that was a great game. But this Clippers-Lakers game was an absolute thrill. It is almost certainly the matchup we're going to get in the conference finals if the Clippers win some games over their next 7. It just felt right, guys, to watch these two teams and the stars on these teams play the way that they did with that kind of playoff intensity. A great night to be a basketball fan watching Lakers-Clippers.
Avery, if I had told you before the game LeBron would shoot 6 of 19 and the Lakers would still win, what would you have said?
I would have thought that it would have been a Los Angeles Lakers loss. I picked the Lakers to win. Unfortunately, my buddy Bill did a better job of handicapping this game because I thought the Lakers would win by more than the -5 on the spread. I had them winning by 7. But I knew the Lakers would win this game. But there's good news and bad news for the Los Angeles Lakers. They won the game, but unfortunately, they didn't play an efficient game. LeBron James, 6 for 19 from the field. They bench barely outscored the Clippers bench, and that's without Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams. So the Lakers weren't really that efficient. The Lakers, obviously, Anthony Davis was 16 for 17 from the free throw line. If Montrezl Harrell is there, who does a pretty nice job against Anthony Davis, who knows? But it's good news and bad news for the Lakers. I wouldn't be celebrating a NBA championship this early in the season just by winning this game in the restart of the season.
Yeah, I'm with Coach. I mean, the fact that Clippers turned the ball over 20 times and were missing those guys, and they were in that game tells you a lot about the Clippers. But to your point, I mean, the fact that LeBron James had an off-shooting night and still was the most important player on the floor, it's a reminder that LeBron can find ways to win basketball games, the kind that feel like tonight's, that are playoff games, regardless of how his offense is going. He was miraculous defensively. He's the leading assist leader per game in the regular season, entering the restart, and he was distributing, getting his teammates involved. LeBron is so scary, and one of the greats of all time, because he does everything well and whatever needs to be done well. Tonight, it wasn't shooting the ball, except in the fourth quarter, obviously clutch, but all the other things LeBron does came to the forefront tonight in a gritty win for the Lakers.
Anthony Davis scored 20 of his 34 points in the first half. Bill, the brow got poked in the eye on Saturday in a scrimmage. Maybe not going to play in this game, but he ultimately decided to play. Looked like he didn't miss a beat.
No, you're right. I mean, this is the thing about Anthony Davis. The thing folks sort of talk about in hushed whispers, he's either Humpty Dumpty or he's Hercules. He's one of the two. We know he's had some issues over the course of his career consistently being on the floor. But when he's out there, it doesn't matter who he's playing with, including LeBron James, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, he's capable of being the best player on the floor any night that he's out there. I mean, he can shift to the 5. He's incredible defensively. He may be Defensive Player of the Year. And you talked to Keem about his offense today and how it looked like he had been playing basketball the last 5 months. And that's part of what makes this matchup so incredible. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, every one of those guys can take over a game, a conference finals, a finals, a restart game like tonight. And from moment to moment and quarter to quarter, you never know who it's going to be. For large stretches today, it was Anthony Davis.
And with the Lakers, we're always trying to figure out, who's going to be the third guy behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And, there can be an argument for Kyle Kuzma tonight or the utility guy, Alex Caruso, Dion Waiters. But at the end of the day, when LeBron James is partnering with a guy like Anthony Davis, who could very well be a 1A guy and be a Batman on any NBA team not named the Los Angeles Lakers, he's just such a stud. He does it on both ends of the floor. And what was exposed tonight is when Anthony Davis shifts to the 5 position. And now it really brings into play his three-point shooting ability, and it forces the Clippers big guys to, make a decision on whether they're going to defend the paint or penetration or defend Anthony Davis at the three-point line. It causes a lot of confusion. So give Frank Vogel a lot of credit. The Clippers were without some of their top guys in their rotation, and Anthony Davis definitely caused a lot of problems for them, especially on the offensive end of the floor when he was at the 5 position.
Not surprising that guys were a little rusty. Clippers had 20 turnovers in this game, started 0 for 8 from beyond the arc. Avery, if they play a cleaner game, more efficient from three-point land, would we have seen perhaps a different result?
Oh, absolutely. When the Clippers are a much more efficient team from behind, the three-point line. And again, you're talking about a guy that loves and share with the whole world. He loves chicken wings from a club in Atlanta. If he wasn't, you know what? Bill needs to visit that club, and then he can text me on how good those chicken wings were, because I don't know if those chicken wings were worth $150,000. But again, when Lou Williams is in the lineup, he's such a threat from behind the three-point line. He's going to be more efficient. He's going to change all of the stat lines, all of the advanced analytics for the Clippers when he's in their offensive rotation. And because of that, the Clippers are going to be a different team from behind the three-point line.
Coach, my wife watches CBS Sports HQ, so I'll just say for the record, I'm not checking out the chicken wings in Atlanta. But I'll say this, and I know the Lakers won, and I recognize, look, a series between these two teams, a best-of-7 series in the conference finals, if that's what we get, it's close to a coin flip, and there's a lot of factors. But my main takeaway tonight, for all the things Coach said, I'm with you, Coach. I think the Clippers are just a little bit a better basketball team. They turned the ball over 20 times. I know Kawhi's stats were really impressive, but there were some moments down the stretch where he looked a little rusty, and LeBron played great defense on him. And they're missing two critically important guys, not just to what they do, but what they do against the Los Angeles Lakers. If you're a Clippers fan, you don't like losing, but for a restart game, missing some of the guys you were missing, as sloppy as you played basketball, I think you feel pretty good about how you can match up against the Lakers when it is a 7-game series. And there's some basketball that's gone on for a little bit of time, so guys have gotten the rust off.
Just for the record, I believe that you can get no contact delivery from that establishment in Atlanta. So you could figure out a way to get your wings. Lakers play the Raptors on Saturday. They win their 50th game as they restart the season on Thursday night. A win versus Toronto would clinch the West. Clippers play the Pelicans on Saturday. Men, thank you. Avery Johnson, Bill Ryder joining us here on CBS Sports HQ as the Lakers come out on top in a thriller. Thank you.